Hello my friends, welcome to another video from Mesolite Visual. My name is Dominic, and in this video I'm going to take you step by step and create a site analysis diagram presentation in ArchiCAD as you see on your screen. This video is divided into parts. Be sure to check the timestamps to jump to specific topics of your choice if necessary. To follow along with this tutorial, please download the project files from the link provided below. If you choose not to follow along, you can still download the project files and the final completed project. Additionally, all the assets used in creating our YouTube videos are available on our Patreon membership platform. Explore the shop feature on this platform to access all the products designed to enhance your architectural workflow. It is important to note that all the products in the shop feature are freely accessible for all our members. If you find this video interesting, please leave a like, share the video, subscribe if you haven't, and thank you to all returning subscribers and viewers for your invaluable support. Without any further ado, let's get straight into ArchiCAD. Alright, as I mentioned on the introduction of this video, check the link below to download this file in order for you to follow along with this demonstration. The first thing to do is to set up your 3D window. In order for us to set up a 3D window, you would need some 3D visualization tools. I have already them loaded into my interface, as you can see here. To load them, go to Window menu, and then down below under Toolbars, you can activate 3D visualization tools. Let me just unload this and then load it again. So I'm gonna go to Window, like I said, Toolbars, then 3D visualization tools. By default, these tools will be just floated on top of your interface like that. But what you need to do is to create more space of your project. You want to dock it into your interface. You can hover your cursor here below the close button, and then you can drag to the position you want. But still you want to dock it into the interface. So if you move it above there, you see it will be docked. So this is the position that I want to maintain for this. Or you can also double click below the close bar to dock it automatically like that, and then you can even drag it on the interface to the ideal position. Okay, so from here what you need to do, let's because this I'll be just using it for referencing, so we need to create our own 3D diagram, site diagram in from scratch. Sorry. So what we need to do is to go to the 3D window. I'm gonna activate the 3D window for the project in order for us to identify the perfect view that we're gonna use for our demonstration. So in order for us to achieve a perfect window, we need to run through some 3D projection settings. So I'm gonna go here on the 3D visualization tools and then click on 3D projection settings, or Control plus Shift plus F3. So if we click on it, it will give you this perspective settings. It will by default to be a parallel settings, so you need to convert this into perspective settings. It will be something like this, parallel projections. So you need to change this to perspective settings. All right, and then from there you can choose your ideal isometric or ideal perspective. In this case I'm gonna go with isometric axonometric, so with this one. And then if you come down below here on the angles, because I want to use 30 by 30 kind of a perspective, so I'm gonna say here on the x-axis, let's make it minus 30 degrees, and then down below on the y-axis I would make it 30 degrees as well. The axis length is going to be on 1000 for both the y and the x-axis and the z-axis as well. Okay, so once you're done with this, you can hit OK to apply the changes to your project. There we go. This is the perfect view that we wanted to achieve and use it into our site axonometric projections. So you can see here we have some extent of some elements, we need to trim it off right on the boundary of our mesh. So to achieve this, let's go back to the plan view. On the plan view, I'm going to draw a marquee above the boundary of the mesh. So to do that, let's activate the marquee and then just draw on the boundary like that. If you right click and then show marquee in 3D or hit F5 in your keyboard, you see now we have a clean trimmed extents of our 3D window. Okay, so once you're done with you're happy with your 3D window or 3D view, so you need to convert this into a 3D document in order for you to start placing some annotations, placing some 2D lines to really enhance your 3D documentation. That is very, very important, because in 3D window there's nothing really you can do. It's just for modeling and appreciation of your project. So to do that, let's right click on the space, right click here, then go to new 3D document from 3D window. Okay, this new 3D document window or settings will pop out. What you need to do, I'll leave the reference ID as it is and then change the name to site axonometric and then create and then wait for a magic to happen. There we go. By default, it will give you this kind of a presentation style because it uses a graphic override combination. So if you go down below here under graphic override section, you would see we have the simplified graphic override keyed in. So if you change it to no override, you would see the default settings of the 3D document style. This is what we have. And then if you go here under the project map, so let's just collapse this in order for you to see. So your file will be located, or your view will be located under 3D documents. It will be listed there. So I have it here, which is site axonometry. Okay, so in the next session we'll be now setting out a custom presentation style for our 3D projection or our 3D document. Alright, moving forward with this presentation, what you need to do is to create a custom presentation style for our 3D document. There are two ways of doing it. We can use the graphic override combinations down below here, and then we're going to also access the 3D settings or 3D document settings of this file in order for us to take quite a number of few things there. Let's start with the 3D document settings. If you come here on the view, then right click on it and then go to 3D document settings. We want to access the model appearance section and then more especially uncut elements, right? So let's activate uniform cut pens, because what you want is to set all the elements here to be in uniform pen or in one pen. So I'm going to activate or check the box for uniform cut pens and then change the pen to color 1, which is 0.13 in the color table, and then I'll move down below under sun. Let's activate the shadow, okay, to enhance our 3D document. If you hit OK to apply the changes, you will get the result instantly. So yes, let's move forward again and enhance this further. What I want is to create the terrain to be more like a base. It shouldn't be intimidating. It shouldn't be too much in terms of thing. It should be on a lighter color and pens instead of just being competing with the other elements. Okay, so I'm going to use a graphic override combinations to control this. So I'm going to activate the graphic override combinations window by clicking on this icon here for that. So let's set up a new graphic override combinations for our 3D documents. I'm going to say new and then I'm going to call it site diagram GOC. Perfect. So what we need to do is now create rules that will govern the presentation style of our elements. So to start with, I'm going to add, let's just click here under the existing rules. Let's add the existing rule. We might say, let's say we want to all cover fields to be solid background. Okay, I'm gonna add this one, and then I'm gonna test again how it's going to affect my 3D document. If you hit OK, it will be automatically loaded in order for you to check the result first. Perfect. This is what we get. It's not enough. What I want to do is to have this in lighter color. I mean the base to be in lighter color, and then all the elements should be dominating. So I'm gonna click or go back to our graphic override combination, and then modify this rule. I'm going to click here on the edit rule, and let's see how this is being affected. So if you come here under the override style, make sure it's been selected here, all cover fields solid background. So if we check here, we have the field type active. All the field type is active. They are under airspace, right? But we don't want to have it under airspace. Maybe we can have it under the background, and then would want to have let me see what I want. I can just cancel. Let's get rid of this and set our own new rules. Okay, I'm gonna just delete it from this delete, and then go to manage rules. The first rule that I want to create, these are the rules that are existing. Some of them I've created them before, but this way the rules will be located. So I'm gonna create a new rule by going down below on the top, on the bottom left corner, and then hit on new, and then I'll call this all elements. Okay, this will be all elements. It will be a rule for all elements, and then I would say all types. That's the criteria that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to add another criteria to exclude the mesh or the topo as a base for our project, because you want them to be in a separate element. So I'm going to say add, and then come here and find element type. Let's add another element type. I'm going to add 2 because I will have another rule for, or another criteria for the roads. So here what I need to do is say is not, and then add the mesh, because I don't want to override the mesh. And then I'll also do it for the beams, because the roads for our file, it has been made up of beam tool. So I'm going to also exclude the beam tool. I'm going to say is not, then activate the beam tool, and then make sure here under this value say end and end in order for it to work accurately. So I'll come down here, and then I would say the line type should be let's say the line type should be, I think line type should be as default. Okay, and then the line marker, I'm gonna restrict it to 0.13, and then I'll leave it as it is. Then hit OK. Then let's add the rule, the newly created rule, which is all elements, right? I'm gonna add, then hit OK to apply and see the results. Perfect. This is what we've created so far. Let's go further and modify our graphic override combinations. What we want to do now is to set a separate rules for the slabs, and then for the mesh, which is the base, and then for the roads. I might leave the roads as it is because yes, I want it to be more like gray. I think it's perfect like this. Let's go back by clicking on this icon to open the graphic override combination settings, and then make sure the side diagram GOC is being selected. What we want to do is to manage rules. You want to create a rule for our base. Okay, so I'm gonna go down again below to create a new rule. So I'm gonna hit on new, then this will be a topo mesh something, or say base. Yeah, doesn't matter the naming of the rule as long as you understand what you're doing. So the element type, which is the criteria here, is going to be the mesh. Okay, and then I'm going to go down on under override style section. I'm going to override the line pen marker text pen, okay, to be lighter. I'm going to go with something like 0.13, and I'm going to override the fill and make it gray as well, the foreground. Then the surface, I'm going to change it to be let's find a white paint. Sorry, white paint, or maybe something pale blue, or this one. Okay, then hit OK. Let's add the rule. Here's the top of mesh base. Come down below and add. Once it's added, you have to drag it above all elements in order for it to work perfect. And then I'll hit OK to apply the changes. Let's wait for the results. Great, this is what I wanted. It looks amazing already. Yes, I'm pretty happy with the results so far. So going forward now, we're going to create the 2D or annotation information we're gonna add. All right, let's start to have some fun with our presentation. So what I need to do here is to add, like I said, secondary information that will be based on the 2D tools. So if I go to down below and activate document section, and then I'm gonna pick the spline tool. On this tool, I'm gonna change the line type to be dashed. Should be, there is that dashed long. Yes, dash long is good for working on bigger scale, because at the end of the day we're gonna work with a scale of 1:1000, because this is a site diagram. So I'm gonna get this one, and then with the spline tool, as you can see, the geometry method indicates it's a free-flowing kind of line element. So I'm going to start from here and indicate or represent the wind direction. It will be coming from this direction, something like this, go all the way like so, and then wrap around my site. Then ultimately I'm gonna stop it here. Okay, so I can come back and select the line and then modify its geometry the way I want. So I can make it nice, exaggerated like that, in order for me to achieve nice results, something like that. Okay, so I want to add an arrow. So if you scroll down here on the info box, you'd see the arrowhead. Currently it's active. Let me see which direction the arrow. Okay, it's in this direction, which is perfectly positioned. So I need to, you can either get rid of the arrow or whatever. You can have arrow on both ends if you want, but in this case what I need to do is to change this height of the arrow. But before you start playing around with the parameters, dimensions of your elements, is an issue of scale. So we need to change this to a bigger scale, because currently as it is, it's under 1:100 scale. So in order for us to do that, it's just to, we can just do it here, but this will be just temporarily placed. What you need to do is to create a window, a new view under the view map. So if you go here under the view map, and then under 3D documents, we have it there already. So this is where we're gonna change and key in our scale, even the graphic override combination permanently. So if I were to click on this, if I were to open this file, you'd see it can give us a different settings, but we've been working on the project map with also the settings that you see. This is what I meant. So we need to key those settings permanently into our 3D window. So to achieve that, let's right click on this and then go down below onto view settings, or you can just come here under properties of each view there and then go to settings. Under the settings of this 3D document, you could see the layer combination is drafting, the scale is 1:100. We want to change it to 1:1000. The graphic override says no overrides. We want to key into our newly created site diagram graphic override combination. If you hit OK, this will be permanently locked to our view. That's the advantage of using view map to create your custom views in ArchiCAD. Under project map, yes, it's fine to work from there, but it's just a list of the views that you can also manipulate and create different views depending on one specific view. See, now we have the arrowhead bigger. We can also go back and increase its size to 15 depending on the presentation style we want. Okay, so what we need to do, you see here the pen of this, it's on this color 3, which is this orange line. I'm gonna change it to 0.35, which is the blue color. It won't change because it's been controlled by the graphic override combination. So we need to set a rule that will exclude this the spline tool. Okay, so let's go back to our graphic override combination settings by clicking on this icon, and then let's say under all elements, let's edit this rule. We're gonna exclude our spline tool. Let's add another criteria. This time around is going to be element type again, and then let's check here to find the spline tool. I think it's under more. If you go here, yes, we have a spline tool there. Then if you hit OK and then OK to apply the changes, it should be fine. There we go. It didn't change. Again, maybe it's being controlled by other, like topo, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's the way creating a separate or a specific rule just for your spline tool or just for your annotations. I would say, let me just create a rule for all the annotations that I'm going to add onto this presentation. So I'm going to come here under the rules and then create another rule for, I would say, for site annotations elements. Okay, then the element type will be the spline tool. Others will be, I'll add another element type. Another one will be a polyline. Where is the polyline? Polyline, I'll add another one for the circle, and then also another one for the fields, field type. Yes, we'll keep on adding more as we go on with this presentation, as we go on with our work. So for example, here what we want to do under override style, we'll say we're not overriding anything, we're leaving it as it is. We're going to depend on the element settings instead of just coming here and override. I'll hit OK to apply the changes. Then let's add that rule, which is site annotations elements. Let's come down below here and then add. Right, so I'm going to drag it on the top by using these two arrows and then hit OK to apply the changes. It should be fine now. There we go. We still have we still have an issue here. I don't know. Are we working on the right graphic override combination? Yes, it's the one. Okay, so then why this is not changing? I think let's go back to the graphic override settings. It should be to do with the base, right? Let me see for the all elements. Oh, I could have said is not. Oh, that's the way mistake is coming from. I was wondering where did I go wrong. It's not, because we don't want to override our spline tool with these settings. Okay, let's just say it's not. It should be fine once it should be fine. Sorry about that, my friends. Mistakes are bound to be part of the progress. There we go. This is what we have now. And because we're working on a bigger scale, we want to appreciate our line width as we work, as we go. So I'm gonna go here under view, and then on screen view options, let's activate the true line width, right? I don't know why they're not sure. Okay, but here, no, but it's fine. They are on. I can see. Or you can also test by saving this as a PDF. I'll say my queue. Then if I go to file, save as, and change this file type to be PDF. I'm gonna just use the desktop as the location. Open file after save. If you go to page options, I'm gonna change this to A2. Landscape is the orientation of the sheet. Then hit OK. If you go down onto the document options, we want to say marqued area, and then we're gonna fit to paper. If you hit OK, we can now save, and then we would see the results. Let's see the results. Perfect. It looks amazing. I think we need to also increase the pens, most especially for this annotations ones. I'm gonna increase the line weight for that. So if you select this, you would go to the options menu, element attributes. If you go here under pens color, you'd see because we're using this pen for the spline tool of the representation of the direction of our wind, you see it's 0.35. What you want to do is to make this to be, let's say 2. Okay, I'm gonna make this 2, and then I'm gonna change also pen number. Which number is this? Yes, this one I'm gonna convert is pen 21. I'm gonna convert it to 1. Yes, and then what else again? I might need to change red. I'm gonna change it to maybe 0.60. Yes, and then I store this as a custom pens. I would say site axonometry, then store. We have now a newly created pen sets. So I'm gonna hit OK. We can come back again and make some changes as well as we go with our presentation. You see, now we can appreciate our pens instantly. This line now indicates what I wanted. So I'm gonna select it. For the arrowhead, let's see if 21 is 2. I want to have arrowhead to be much thicker than this. Make it 4. I'm gonna make it 4, or even 2. 2 is fine. Let's go back, element attributes, then pens. This color 21, make it 2. Okay, then I'm gonna store as again. I'm gonna store as a copy, then hit OK. Perfect. We have this kind of representation. I'm impressed already. I'll pick the parameters of this line and then draw the other line in the other side. So I'm gonna go here under the pick parameters, then pick this, then I can quickly place another like that. Okay, again modify the geometry, something like that. Pretty happy with the results so far, which is perfect. Let's move on into another thing. We need to have some text, just annotation text for this. I'm going to activate text tool and just draw a text box. Then this I'm going to say I want to represent the speed of this. It's going to be 250 knots. These are the units of measuring wind speed. So I'm just gonna click that, click on this point and reduce the text frame. I'm gonna drag it, Control D to drag it here, and Control E to rotate it along the line like that. I'm gonna Control D again, move it back, something like that, and then increase the size to be maybe 5, something like that. Okay, I'm going to get a copy, Control Shift D to get a copy, bring it down, and then I'll say this will be prevailing wind. This can be like that. I'm going to increase the size of this to maybe 7 so that it can be big like that. This we're gonna reduce to 3 or maybe 4. Something like this. Okay, so from here, let's see how we can do the sun diagram. The sun diagram is going to be exactly the same thing. I'm going to represent it in accordance with the shadow casting as it is. You see the shadow casting are on the side, on the left, so that means the sun will be projected on the right, and then it should indicate the sun type. There are two different of sun. There is a winter and summer sun. So I'm going to use the spline tool again. Let's activate the spline, and then I'm going to pick the first point is going to be on this point, then the second point will be here, another one will be there. You could use a circle, but I wanted to create more like a perspective instead of just a circle. A circle will be more like, let's just say if you use a circle like this, and then you want to use or pick the geometry method of the points. I'm gonna have a circle like that, something like this. If I click this, oh, by the way, but it looks great. What I need to do is to change the arrow to that side. I'm gonna select it, then change the arrow to the side. I can maybe change the size of the the type of the arrow, because this is a different thing. Maybe change it to something like this, or maybe that. No, let's go for this one. Okay, all right, and then the line type should be on the yellow or orange line. You see, now we don't have access to the circle, is because we have to exclude it under all elements, graphic override. So if you click here, manage or edit the rule, and then let's add element type. Again, is not, because we don't want it to be covered by this rule. And then let's go for more and select the circle. If you hit OK to apply, we should have our path file. All right, there we go. I'm going to again pick a circle there, and then I'm going to draw a circle here by using the center geometry method. Let's just draw a circle like that. From there, I'm going to pick the fill tool and fill this circle by press and hold the spacebar key and to activate the magic wand, and then select the circle. Wow, I don't know why the laptop that I'm using is struggling to. Okay, I think it's been placed. Let's see. There we go. I'm gonna get rid of the circle so that I can just remain with the fill. The fill, I'm going to activate its outline type, and then should be solid, and change this to color yellow. And the foreground, I'm going to use a different, maybe 75% fill, because again it's under the all elements. It's been affected by all elements rule. So I'm gonna go back again here and then edit all elements rule. Then let's add another element type, which is going to be, let's say it's not, which is going to be a fill. Hit OK to apply the changes. It should be fine. It should be fine. There we go. I think I wanted to have a 75 fill of an orange line, or maybe 75. Let's go for the foreground instead of 75. Okay, yeah, something like that. And then I'm going to pick parameters of this line. Oh, sorry, let's just use the spline tool. I'm gonna pick the spline tool and then draw some lines like that. Have another one here, another one there. I'm gonna change this to be the same color, which is orange, stuff like that. And then I'm going to reduce the size of the arrows a bit, maybe by up to 10, something like this. I'm gonna take this text, so I'm going to activate the drag and hit Control in your keyboard to add a copy, so that I can just carry a copy like this. Set the rotation to be 0 and label this. I'm gonna say winter sun. Extend the frame, double click to open the text window, hit enter, and then I'm going to say 11. I'm gonna put time here, 11 hours, 1100 hours. This is windhoek GMT. Oh, I'm going to format the text to be, the alignment to be on the left like that, and then set this to be orange. I want the text to be orange as the color of the sun, but it's also being controlled by the all elements rule. So I need also to go back and set the rule for, or exclude the text element on the rule. So I think for this, let's just leave it as it is. Now you know how to exclude the rules. Okay, so the next feature is going to be labeling all the elements. Now this is going to be exciting because we're going to use a custom label to achieve that. So if I go back to the example that we're referencing with, and let's just open it so that you can see if you are in the right direction. Okay, I want to create this labeling. You see, we've created a custom label. It's been made up of a label. So if you open its settings here, you'd see it's under the label preview. So they are there listed there. So what I need to do now is to copy all this. These are the labels that I created customly by using just a fill. So if you want this, also check the link on the description to download this. I have it as a extensive library, as you could see, for almost everything in terms of when it comes to diagramming. So you have everything. So it's made up of a field. It's good because you can just save it for yourself as a label. So let's go back here. I'm gonna copy this. Let's just copy one. I'm gonna copy one, which is the government office. Control C to copy. Go back to our view, and then I'm going to show you how to save this. Let's just paste it here. Okay, so the reason why you have to, I couldn't save this automatically or as a preset for you is because of the size. The label is dependent on the scale. So if I had to copy this, for an example, if I had to Control C and copy this into our project, Control V, paste, this is the size of the element. You see where it is. This is the size of the element in relation to the scale, 1:100. So it's better, or it's always advisable to have this as a row. So from here, I'll just Control K to scale this up, right? I'm going to scale this up so that I can now save within the scale of 1:100. You cannot have it preset. That's the unfortunate part. So if I had to save this, I'm going to select everything and then go to File, Libraries and Object, Save Selection as a label. I'm going to save this as a label. So I have already saved it, which is this one, a government office. So all these are the labels that I've saved to create that kind of a presentation. Okay, so if I had to save this and then hit save, but already I have this, I'll cancel. Make sure you rotate it. You see, they are being rotated on this side. So even this one, if I had to save it, let's say I'm going to rotate it like that. Let me reduce it a little bit. Something like that. You can play around with the settings. Instead of just having, maybe I'll have this fill as solid and then I'll have a cutout of black. I can just say pick parameter of, pick the points and then subtract a polygon, activate the magic wand feature by hold spacebar key and then click on this. Then I can select this, get rid of it, then change this to a black color, something like that, so that I can just have one fill. And then make sure you get rid of the outline when you're saving this, because you just want just a fill, right? So it's very important. So if I had to save this, the reason why I was saving it rotated like this is because the element that we are using, or the label that we are using, it doesn't work well on a vertical mode. Let me just rotate it so that you can see. Or I will use this one. Let's just Control E to rotate it back up straight. Then if I go to File, Libraries and Object, Save Selection as a label, I'm going to replace the government office. Then Save, Replace. These are the parameters. Just ignore and then hit OK. Alright, so from here, what you need to do is to activate the label tool. Alright, and then I'll open the settings. Open the settings of the label, and automatically it will pick the newly created label, the government office one. I'll hit OK. So if we check here, we have the pointer settings. We want to have a leader or a pointer into our element, right? And then let me just play so that you can understand the settings first. You see, it's been rotated because if you look at let's hit settings. If you look at under symbol label settings, no, it's under symbol label. I've rotated this. So if I had to say 90, it becomes like this, but we want it to be vertical. Okay, so I have to rotate it by 90 degrees. But while rotating it, it will always again rotate the element instead of just the leader. So that was the problem, and then I decided to save them already rotated here, so that when I rotate there, it doesn't affect my symbol. So I'm gonna select it, save, File, Libraries and Object, Save Selection as a label. Let's replace it, then hit Save, Replace, hit OK. Like I said, ignore the parameters. So if you go back, you see now it's up straight, okay, which is something that I wanted. So I'm gonna pick this and stretch it all the way to somewhere there. Okay, and because it's a label, currently the parameters of this graphical parameters have been controlled by the all elements override graphic override combination. So let's come here under all elements. What we want to do is to exclude the label on this ruling. So I'm going to add element type again, and then it's going to be is not, that's the value. Then change this to be a label. Where is the label? It should be, yeah, there we go. Then hit OK. Hit OK to apply the changes. Okay, so now it's dependent on the element settings parameters. So if I had to select it and then scroll down here on the info box, you'd see this is the line type that we are using. I want to use it as black. Let's just use black. Then I want to use the color, this line type for the pointer to be dotted. Let me go for dense dotted, right? Yes, this one. Perfect. Okay, you can play around with the colors if you want. So would I like it red? Yeah, it's subjective, so it's according to you. So then I'm going to pick parameters of this and then label all the buildings here. So this one, because I already saved the label, I'll just go to settings and then change this to be this is also a government office, if I'm not mistaken. Or I can just say it's a hotel. Hit OK. Okay. Now let's change it to an office, because my site is the one for the hotel, for the accommodation. I'm gonna have it as a government office. Pick parameters of this and then label this one again. Stretch it all the way to somewhere there. I can move this so that they don't move this to here. Then this I can stretch it all the way somewhere there. This will be something like, let's find under the type and preview. We have bank, we have market, we have supermarket, taxi, we have theater. I can make this a theater. Then I can make this a bank. What do you think? This could be a bank. Yes. Pick parameters of that. This could be a supermarket. Let's change this to a supermarket. This will be a government office, because there are a bunch of government offices around this place. This will be food. This will be a restaurant. A coffee shop. Let me change this to a coffee shop. Do I have a coffee shop here? No, I'm just gonna change it to food. This is a supermarket. Yeah, stuff like that. Okay, so you can see you can create your own custom label and play with it and have fun with it. So I'm gonna take this text tool by just dragging and then hit Control to add a copy and then label this maybe. Oh, sorry about that. Let me go back. I wanted to change the angle of this to 90. Then move right somewhere there. This will be theater. And then I will justify my text alignment to be at the top. On this side. Okay, and then if you open the settings of the text, yes, I want the anchor point to be at the top left corner, which is here, so that every time when I duplicate this by Control-Shift-D, I can use this point of reference of copying, or I can just right click, then go to move and then drag multiple copies. I would use this point as a copying reference point like that, so that I can have a consistent labeling points. This one is going to be a different case because it's on top of a lot of elements. So I'm gonna start with this one and say government. How do you spell government office? We have another. Oh no, this is a bank. I'm gonna copy this first, place it here, and then this will be a bank. This will be supermarket. This will be a government office. Stuff like that. If you feel the text is too small, you can select all of this text, change it to maybe 7. Yeah, I think yes. It looks nice and neat. I can take this text again and use it to label other elements like this, the main road. I'm gonna rotate it and then say main road or access road, something like that. Okay, stuff like this. Perfect. What do I'm missing here? Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this. I'm sure you guys you're getting the concept now on how you can do this one. I can change the sun. I can change the label here. I mean the arrow here to be, let's say we're gonna use arrow on both sides, and then oh, I don't think you can have 2 different arrows on both sides. I could see. Okay, let me go back to this one. It's impossible, guys. You cannot have, but I can just create a dot. I wanted to create a point. I can take this sun, copy, Control C or hit Control on your keyboard and then place it here. Right click to bring it to front because it's buried underneath. Then I can Control K. Yeah, I can leave it here. I can leave it there, just like this. And then this will be the sunrise. Control Shift D to copy this text. Change the rotation to be 0. Then sunrise. Then move this there, something like this, and you can even put time if you want. Yeah, so there are other elements. There's a library that I've created also for site diagramming. So if you go to file, check the link also in the description to download this these files. So if you go to libraries and objects, under file, then library manager, let's load that library. I already have it loaded. I could see ArchiCAD site, sorry, it's MS Beam diagram symbols. So if you add, you'd see this folder. You have to add these 2 folders, right? I already added them into my library. As you can see them, they're here. So they're both here. Let me hit OK. So if you are to access that files, it's going to be under objects. So I'm going to say object tool, activate it, and then open its settings. On the settings, we need to locate the folder for that. So I'm gonna click on this folder view, and let's find the linked libraries. Under linked libraries, you'd see we have these 2. So if I click on this one and then open, you see we have different types of labeling of our site. All right, so yes, I can take this one, hit OK, and then indicate the site points, the site access, sorry, or possible points of access to my site. And then I'll hit Control K to scale this up, Control E to rotate it. I'll say this is possible access point A. We have another possible access point B, another possible point of access C here. This I will mirror. I'll pick this and then use mirror. Yeah, this will be 3 possible point access to the site. Oh, I forgot to label the building actually for the site, so I'm gonna pick this, and then oh, sorry about that. Pick the label, then label this. This is going to change to a hotel. Like I said, it's an accommodation. Where is the hotel? There you go. I'm gonna scratch it all the way to then. Oh, sorry, undo. Stretch. Drag it somewhere here to create enough space. I'm going to Control Shift D this using a reference point, and then this is going to be accommodation. Then stretch this to fit all the content. Perfect. So let's go back to the object symbols. Like I said, we have 3 possible access points. Let's now identify the possible pedestrian movements. I'll activate the object tool again, open its settings, and this time around I'm going to find you see a bunch of interesting stuff here to use. You see the different types of arrows. If you go under the diagram symbol 2, we also have different arrow styles, as you could see. So we want the pedestrian, which is this one. Hit OK. We'll have the pedestrian coming from this because I know there's a residential neighborhood on this side and on the other side. So I'm going to select it, then Control K to scale it up. Scale it up to the desired scale. Then I'll mirror it like that. I can rotate it the way I want. This will be the possible points of pedestrian movement. We have another one from this side. Okay, and then let's see how we can do the noise, traffic noise. I'm gonna go back and then find noise viewing angles. Hit OK. We're gonna have noise coming from this main road. I'm gonna click it there and place it there. So let's select it, Control K to scale it up to the desired size. Yes, then Control Shift D, another possible coming from this line again, or the road. Yeah, these are 2 possible noise views or angles. Okay, what else again? We could pick the best views for the site. I have this view, we have this one, and then that one. So this one I can use a different element, which is let me go for the label. I'm going with the label tool for this because I want to add again or maybe let's just say again, let's just use an object. You would find there's we also have a summer sun study and both winter summer study. We have a vehicle path. We have the wind direction. Let me find in terms of best views. I think it's one of this. Sun path. I think we have the views, right? Connecting lines. There's something I'm looking at here. Pedestrian public access. Yes, public access. We can have public access here. Control K to scale it up, and then I'll mirror it. And another public access will be somewhere here on this point of access, something like this. And the most impressive stuff, we can take again this and create a legend somewhere here. I'll just take all of these objects like that, just bring them somewhere, make a copy of all this. Okay, and then normally I would draw a line, pick a line tool, draw a line here, and then make sure you select all of them, then set the rotation to 0. Oh, let's say 90, but it has to be 0. I'm saying 0, yes. Then these two I'm going to mirror them like that, move them to the line. This I will also rotate, move it to the line, same as the noise. Perfect. Can get rid of the line, and then I'm going to use a label to label all this instead of just using a what you call a text tool. So if I activate the label tool, and then I'll click on this label, on this object, then I'll change the label tool into text and auto text, text or auto text. Hit OK. So we have something like this. It will pick the name of the or in order for you to pick the name of the element, because they have been saved according to their use. So I'm going to use auto text. Let's just delete, and then I'll show you. You're going to insert auto text, which is this A, and then let's find for the library part name. Hit add. It will create or pick the name of this element, because you see it's been saved as a pedestrian path. So I can pick the parameter of the label and then label all these ones, something like this. You see, that's your legend. You could take this or take the text and have a title of your legend like that, then drag it somewhere here. Perfect. That brings us to the end of our session. I'm pretty much impressed with the result we got so far. If you really find this video interesting, guys, give us a like and make sure you share this video with those that you think will benefit from. If you've made it to this far, I thank you so much for your patience, and I hope I've delivered the promise that I had at the beginning of the video. Check the links for all the resources and project files we've used for this video. I thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.